Hello and welcome everybody once again to the We're Already There podcast.
Hello, fellow bipedal simians.
Boop, boop, boo!
Nice to hear you all.
This is our 6th edition of the We're Already There podcast. Tonight we're going to be diving into the issue of
The shooting.
yeah,
Or not, just the bigger picture.
society and specifically American society and why we shoot each other so much. This isn't just in reference to the most recent school shootings or the absurd number of school shootings that we've had this year in the 47 days now of this year, but the amount that the police, the people who are supposed to be protecting us, are also shooting us.
There's a lot of shooting.
Americans like to shoot each other.
Yeah, we're into it.
Why is that?
I have like a metaphysical answer to that kind of. Like it's not really like a legit answer, but like if you are like mentally unhealthy, you get caught in a loop. Like your brain just like keeps like, if you're, get panic attacks, let's say, you will, if you have a bunch, you'll continue to have them because your brain gets like in a traumatized loop. And that, to me, that's just like, humans definitely are individuals, but we also kind of act like an organism, like a singular
Definitely,
organism.
yeah.
That's where this gets fuzzy. So it's like as a singular organism, not the entire humanity, but United States, we're stuck in this traumatic loop. And
I can see that.
the solution isn't taking anything away or putting anything to it or adding anything, like taking anything away from society or adding anything to society. We really have to dissect and address like the mental health issue, like not even the mental health issue, just the issue. We need
the issue that is leading us to this mental health loop.
we need like a good dosage of like psilocybin mushrooms over a couple days to neurogenesis and just recreate those neural pathways to not shoot at people all the goddamn time, especially in schools. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, because that's where people should be safe, where they're going to learn, where we're sculpting the hearts and minds that will guide this country into the future. If they don't feel safe there, that's a huge issue because we need an educated populace. And if people fear institutions of education because they have to worry for their lives, that isn't the beginning or the perpetuation of a healthy society.
No, it's like that. We can't have a continuity of society with everyone being so afraid.
Not just afraid of people shooting, afraid of losing their jobs, afraid of not being able to afford to continue to live where they are. Just a general sense of fear, which we see being perpetuated through the media. And it's up to everybody in their own individual sense to regulate what media they are taking in. But some things are definitely unavoidable. They, like we were talking about, they run news at gas stations. Now, if you get gas, you have to actively try to ignore bombardment of advertisements and news. And you see covers of magazines, newspapers everywhere. And on the top, it's always tragedy. It's not like, oh, new avocado orchard open for public use. You don't see that kind of thing. It's like, oh, new avocado orchard burned to the ground by avocado-hating anarchists.
Those are like the worst people in the world. Anyone who hates avocados will burn them down.
Or this is something I actually did see, which I just don't understand. I don't understand how someone could have so much hate for something that is so necessary. But there was a beehive that was attacked. There were beehives.
Yeah.
People poured gasoline or diesel fuel all over a bunch of beehives to just ruin the honey that was there and kill the queen, so the hive couldn't even in any way recover. Why? That is so hateful.
That's what I'm saying. There's something like our psyche, or collective psyche. I hate to use that word, but I think there's some validity to it. Our collective psyche is just like in a panic mode. You know, we're overstimulated, afraid, angry, and you know, like we were saying before, like think about how much time kids these days spend interacting with each other through video games. Like I've done a lot of that. Growing, I don't do it as much obviously anymore, but like going through college and stuff, like yeah, we played a ton of Halo and like my interaction, yeah, Call of Duty,
Mortal
whatever
Kombat,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like our interactions are through an avatar against somebody else.
How big freaking Grand Theft Auto is, and all you do in Grand Theft Auto is go around and murder people and blow stuff up. Like,
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's incredible. I loved Halo and I love Call of Duty. They're so much fun, but like that has to be damaging the psyche of like people growing up, because what happens when they get angry at someone in real life? They're so used to taking out aggression with violence on somebody else, but it's through an avatar. But eventually you can have that disconnect. It's like where it doesn't matter anymore. Like I can still, like, what does this feel like in real life? Now I want the next step. We all get addicted to shit. We get addicted to being angry at somebody online, killing them, getting killed, being super angry, and then you get into real life and
you've got all this pent up aggression that you don't have a healthy outlet for. You're not really sure what's going on.
yeah.
And then that's when you end up getting things like kids going into schools and shooting each other, because that's how, instead of going and just yelling at everybody, they feel that they have to go to the most extreme way to get out whatever's inside them, and that's to start shooting people.
Yeah, because not only are you used to killing people, you're used to dying constantly in video games, and your avatar dying, and like, you know, anyone with who doesn't have a good grip on reality, it just seems so easy to slip over a little too far and bring that violence to reality, because you're perpetuating it. Just like some kids will play like 6 to 8 hours a day of video games. Like that's gotta cause a problem.
Some grown people.
Yeah, no, not just kids, but
some
like
adults.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Some people play more.
Yeah,
Some people will dive deep into those fictional worlds, only surface to do whatever it is that they have to do and then go back.
yeah. And so but then you get trapped and you need like an outlet, like you were saying, and you fucking shoot up a school. But that's why I just, like, I don't feel like this issue is a gun issue. This is like a human issue. This is a society issue. You know, I just get scared
totally
at the thought
yeah.
of removing something from society just because it can do bad things, especially as something as powerful as weapons. Like it or not, weapons have made massive changes in the world. It's like they're not good or bad, they're just something, they're a catalyst for something. Good or bad. And like the idea of a disarmed populace scares me.
Yes.
And I'm not, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Just that kind of regulation, just the more we allow our lives to be regulated in whatever way it might be. Although, as we were talking earlier, I'm definitely a proponent of some sort of a fair way of establishing population control. Because procreation, although part of our biology, I don't know if it's necessarily a human right to be able to procreate.
I second that. I really second that. Like we were saying, like the biggest problems we face in the next 50 years is water, resources, places to live. Like there's too many of us. So let's address that problem. And maybe regulating who can have children. Like not, you know, just doing it in a government fashion where it's like it's only 30% effective, really. You know, still, but like 70% of the people who shouldn't be procreating are still going to get by.
Yeah.
But something at least. You know, so there's 30% less children in foster care, or who aren't being paid attention to, or who are, you know, kids like this Cruz kid. Let's take them out of society. Let's figure out how to avoid having people like that.
To stop creating potentially psychopathic people.
Yeah.
Idiocracy really hit the nail on the head in this particular subject, because in the big opening scenes, it addresses how people who are not as well educated or don't aspire to get better educated, continuing to procreate and then creating offspring who have these same ideals and don't want to continue to become educated and just are okay with a certain level of education. And then those are the people being proliferated, and those are the Nicholas Cruzes of the world. Those are the
Columbine shooters, the Donald Trumps, the whatever. He had to slip in here somehow. So yeah, I mean, this gun thing, like we're saying, it's like we're not talking about guns. We're not talking about direct things. It's more of like, I'm talking about the human psyche. We're talking about reducing the population. You know, it's like these solutions are way more complex than just removing something.
not even necessarily directly reducing the population as much as reducing the increase of the population.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like reducing population like over time. Like we start instituting things that stop. So like if there's 30% less people being born, there's 30% more resources going to children who are in foster care. So people who do end up there. I'm not talking about eliminating any class of people at all. I'm talking about just kind of toning it down and giving the people who need the foster care